Everybody, it's Matt at Sparkle Farm. It's the polar vortex is come and gone, and just kind of like walking around the workshop, seeing, making sure that nothing bad happened around. But the only thing that I'm spotting so far is the backhoe here. Tires getting a little low. I did fill it up like when it was like 5 degrees, but when it was the negative, it was still holding air, so I hope it's not a problem. Don't really want to put new tires on the backhoe here, but I've had it about 18 months now, and it only goes low when it's below like 10 degrees, and well, we've had that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, 6 days now. So let's get the air fired up and we'll check the tires in the backhoe. We're not going to fire it up. It's just it's still kind of chilly out, and if we're not going to use it for anything, I like to leave the dragon sleeping, but we don't want the tire to pop off the rim. So let's go get the compressor and the hose and let's get this pumped back up. While we're grabbing everything, we're just gonna leave the doors here on the shop open because it's actually warmer outside than it is in the shop. So let's try and get some of this warm air in here because we're gonna be in and out. So I'm not gonna fire up the fireplace, and actually it's not that bad. If I was gonna be working in here, I'd definitely get the fireplace going, but we're not. Alright, so I finally got everything. A bunch of other little projects got in the way. And one of them is this. So this is my filter from my vacuum that I just used to get the ashes out of the fireplace, and how much we've been burning. I've been cleaning it out a lot. So I don't know if it seems like it's working okay, but this definitely seems plugged up. So we're just gonna blast it. See the color change? Alright, I'm gonna call that that looks like brand new again. So we'll put that back on the vacuum. So you can see the tires starting to flex, and we don't really have the equipment here to fix that if that pops off the rim. I'm sure we could come up with something, but it's easier not to let it happen. That's one nice thing about having the bigger compressor in the workshop. I'm going to be able to fill up these giant tires a lot easier. So midweek we're supposed to be for sure in the 50s. So I'll probably fire this thing up and just get it moved. I'll talk to the couple guys that I know that do the hydraulic cylinder rebuilding and see what kind of price they give me. There's a number of them that need to be fixed on this, and you know, I can get it delivered over to their shop where they can do it faster and probably more cost effective for me, and get it back before spring. No, we're not really using it right now, so if it sits at their shop for a month or two, not a big deal. I might actually talk to them, see what it would cost me to have them drop some new tires on here. Front ones seem fine, you know, but these are the ones that get you out of trouble in the mud. But we haven't had a problem yet. Alright, I'm just going to put it at 20 pounds. see where we're at for the day. I decided I'm going to try and start and move the backhoe today. Like I just said, I usually try and leave the Dragon sleeping when it's this cold, but we're supposed to get some warm weather in the 50s for a good couple days. This area of the yard just floods out, so if I actually needed it, this thing is going to be sitting in a couple inches of water. Then going to move it, it's just going to make a crazy pile of mud right here. So while everything's still frozen, we're going to try and move it. But batteries are dead, so I'm just going to throw it on charge for an hour or two and see what happens. Now this is the first diesel vehicle well, not vehicle, but piece of equipment I've ever owned. So a lot of things on this backhoe was a learning curve for me. But the people that before me, to be honest, I don't know how they really got it. They got it in some sort of trade. They owned a auto repair salvage company, which I don't know what that really means. Does it mean if it works out, great? If not, they scrap it? I'm not quite sure, but they used this around their property to develop it. But so I'm sure they took it in on trade or something along those lines and fixed it. But I bought it just to dig our water and gas line to the property. It's a little over 850 feet that I had to dig, 4 feet deep. And the summer that we had, I couldn't find any other piece of equipment where this thing did it. Just do the basic maintenance that I know how to do, which check all the fluids. I changed the oil when I got it before, because I knew I was going to be running it pretty hard. Changed all the air filters, hydraulic filter, oil filter. So now it's just kind of, I don't use it all the time, so I just kind of let it sit idle. But let's get this thing fired up. So what they did is right here, there's a kill switch, which tells me that there's some sort of draw somewhere in the electrical, but as long as you remember to turn it off, it's not a big deal. But I'm going to put this at 10 amps and just let it go for a couple hours, or an hour or so, and then let's try and fire it up. By then it'll be probably into the 40s outside, and that'll help even more. Alright, let's get into the next project. Well, sometimes just it needs a little kick in the butt, but let's try and start it. Turn the switch on, flip that one up to the big end, and let's start it. So I got pressing my, Okay, honey, please, come on. So honey treats this as, hey, come on, get off. So honey treats this as her favorite amusement park ride. So she just jumped up on here. All right, let's try it again. Now that she's up here. Come on. Okay, get down, come on. Alright, that was only like a couple minutes of charging. but we're just going to leave it at the 10 amp now and just let it charge. I don't know if you saw it starting to smoke right here. Might take this off and clean up this connection. But I went and got a wrench, a little wire brush, and some dielectric grease. Now if that's the spot that's smoking, that's telling me that that's the problem spot. Alright, cleaned up all the parts. Oh, hey. Hey. So, Sparkle Cannon.
Hi.
Since this seems to be the weak point on everything, we're just going to go one connection at a time. I'm going to wire brush everything. Put some dielectric grease on them. And I think part of the problem is it's maybe getting too much resistance. I don't know if I'm using that term right when it comes to electricity, but I do know you want to keep all your terminals clean in your vehicles. So if we have a better connection all around, honey! That's a good dog. One holler and she's back. If there wasn't snow on the ground, I don't think I would have found it. Alright, now I've cleaned up all my connections, put it all back together. I'm going to throw it back on charge. It's still off on the kill switch, but now when it is time to fire it up after it's all charged, we know that a battery connection is not the problem. All right, let's go and put these tools away because we are definitely done with them. All right, Honey's already up in the driver's seat, ready to fire it up. Let's see what happens. Excuse me, dog. Huh, I forgot to turn on the kill switch. Makes me really happy that that fired up. It's been a good long time since I've started it. I was just trying to think of when I started it last, and it's been probably October, so February now, so it's a good long time. Before I try and move it or even get the hydraulics going or anything like that, I'm just going to let it warm up for a few minutes. Let it blow out all the other stuff. You can hear it working a little bit. I might bump up the idle just a touch. But yeah, this is a good day here on the farm. Well, I guess I wish I would have cleaned up the battery terminals a long time ago. Alright, let's get all the hoses and cords out of the water. Alright, it's been running about 10 minutes now. I cleaned up the cords and the air hose, but charging the battery on the dump trailer. Hopefully it didn't freeze with this cold temp, but let's go through the motions with the Dragon and we'll go from there. All right, so all I did was just basically move it over, you know, 10 feet, but you can see my dragging tracks here. Yeah, like this area right here, I'll show you in a few days, but this will be an inch or two of water with all this stuff. So I'm gonna check tomorrow. I'll probably check all the fluids. Like I made sure last week everything was like good, but after now that it's warmed up and everything's expanded a little bit, we have a tree we need to go knock down that's just covered in poison ivy, and the dragon is the right thing to do it with. All right, well, let's get into some more stuff here now that I'm not freezing out.